Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. So sit back, relax, and let's talk about the nerdy news that you need to know about. It's the only news that matters. It's good news. So let's not stand on ceremony, Mr. Wayne. Let's talk about it. Before we do, though, I want to give a big thank you to my Patreon supporters. Guys, without your help, I wouldn't get these episodes out as often as I do, so thank you so much. And if you want to be a Patreon supporter, then you can do by going over to patreon.com/displaying-model-behaviour. Toss a couple of bucks my way, and you can watch all of the exclusive videos on there and get access to the exclusive Model Behaviour Instagram page that gives you a little bit of insight and a little bit of like behind the scenes look at my life here in Japan, including like days out, trips, meals, toy hunts, all that crazy stuff. Go on over to Patreon, sign up, and you can get a link to join the Instagram, and it's a good time. So there you go. A little bit of paying the bills to start the show with. Let's talk about the news now, shall we? Because, oh boy, we've got a lot of it. First of all, not action figure related, but Deadpool 3 Wolverine related, okay? So you can skip past this if you don't want any kind of spoiler. But, I mean, come on. If you've gone onto the internet to watch this video, then surely you've seen it already. Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, in his glorious full yellow Wolverine costume. Ow, have mercy! Finally, we're going to see it on the silver screen. It was the rumor right from the start that Wolverine was going to be in his original yellow and blues, and now we see, boom, set photo, bam, there he is next to Deadpool, both of them looking the business. Now, I gotta say, there are a few caveats, a few provisos, and a couple of quid pro quos when it comes to this costume. First of all, he's got sleeves. Don't care for that. We don't like sleeves on our Wolverine costumes. Apparently, some folks said that Hugh Jackman, God bless him, is recovering from skin cancer, or he had a biopsy or something, and apparently that might be to protect his skin. Because Lord knows, he doesn't need to cover up his physique. Have you seen some of those recent gym pictures? The dude is yoked. You know, if I had arms looking like that, I'd be like, you're not putting sleeves anywhere near me, pal. Sun's out, guns out. So maybe it is a more practical reason that he's wearing sleeves. So, God bless you, Hugh Jackman. But besides that, I think the costume looks great. I would have liked a bit more of the real classic blue underpants tiger stripe. This is definitely hearkening more to the Astonishing X-Men look. But you know what? It still looks great, and there's little behind-the-scenes pics of him and Deadpool fighting. It looks like there's a lot of wire work going on as well, so that's nice to see. Some good old-fashioned proper movie making. That's kind of awesome. The more I see of this movie, the more hyped I get for it. This is a good time. Gah! It's a good time to be a comic book fan. Speaking of good times to be a comic book fan, one other piece of non-toy based news, but I wanted to give a big shout out to Stop Motion Zach over on Instagram. You like the little stop motion thing that is at the start of this video? Yep, well, that's him right there. Ludicrously talented creator. So I saw his videos on Instagram and I was like instantly started following. Then I saw the one that I put at the start of this video because I was like, dude, can I use that? Because that's really cool. And then he actually asked me if I wanted to do a voiceover for one of his upcoming projects, which I'm like, yeah, of course, I want to give a little something back. You've given this channel so much. So I voiced Spider-Man Noir in one of his most recent videos. So if you want to see that, and if you want to hear me doing my best kind of Nicolas Cage, sort of a gangster kind of voice, then go and check out Stop Motion Zach, Spider-Man Noir. All the links are in the description. I'm going to put them on the screen as well. One of my favorite new creators to have discovered. Turns out he's a all-round stand-up dude as well. So thank you so much, Zach, for letting me use your footage in the intro. And keep making crazy awesome stop motion videos because they're wicked. So yeah, double thumbs up for that. First bit of actual toy news now, about 5 minutes into the video. McFarlane have revealed their San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Superman figure, and there you go. Is it artistic, or is it just a bunch of paint splashed on it? I don't know. I'm not an artist. I can tell you though, it looks striking. I guess, is a fair word for it. I mean, it looks like he was struck with a tin of paint. So there you go. To mark the 85th anniversary of the Man of Steel, we're getting this San Diego Comic-Con exclusive figure with a whole bunch of red paint splashed over him. I'm being a bit facetious. There's elements of it that look kind of cool, but I don't know. This is definitely one I feel for the Superman collector who has everything. Hey, look. At least it's not another Batman, so you can't moan about that. But this, I don't think that I would need it. But look, I mean, points for unusualness, I suppose. It's got that going for it. Going over to Hasbro Star Wars now, we have a couple of Walmart exclusives. This time, Obi-Wan and Ghost Force or Force Ghost Qui-Gon Jinn. So these obviously taken straight out of the slightly derided Obi-Wan show. Don't get me wrong, I know that people like it and that's fine, and I like that you like it. That's awesome. Nothing wrong with that, but I wouldn't particularly want to commemorate that show in plastic, but folks do, and folks particularly, I think, do want a Qui-Gon Jinn Force Ghost. So that's kind of cool to have that. I never actually saw, I didn't know if Qui-Gon appeared as a Force Ghost in Obi-Wan. I watched most of that show, but not all of it. So I guess I must have gone out to take a whiz or something when that happened. That must have been right at the end. Was it? Possibly? I think I'd given up by that point. But nonetheless, these figures, the Ewan McGregor likeness, it looks decent. And so does the, what's his name? Liam Neeson as well. I like that because he's half Force Ghost and half normal colors. In this image, he looks like, well, I've sunk into this bog and now my robes are covered in blue goo. I'm not happy about this, Anakin. That was a terrible Liam Neeson. I wasn't really going for Liam Neeson, but he just looks grumpy that his robes have got blue goo on them. Who left this blue goo here? I went positively Sir Ian McKellen with that one. Wizard! You are covered in goo. Nonetheless, you can pick these guys up for $27.99 from Walmart, apparently available for pre-order on the 18th of this month. Not wanting to be left out of the Comic-Con brouhaha, Mattel are coming in hot with some WWE commemorative figures. Oh my goodness. This Muhammad Ali 2-pack. I got to say, this is really cool. So it's going to be available exclusively at Comic-Con, and then afterwards you're going to be able to order it on Mattel Creations website as well. There's no price listed for it yet, not that I can see, but dang it, looking at these images here, is this like the definitive Muhammad Ali figure? I know that there are lots of figures out there. Didn't Super 7 make Muhammad Ali? Maybe Storm Collectibles as well. I'm just riffing, I'm wrecking my brains here, I could be wrong. But the fact that it's got classic boxer Ali along with a completely separate referee Ali as well, and it looks like you can flip the box either way to have either one displayed, and also the box is made out to look like a classic old WWE magazine, WWF magazine. That's great. And then you've got these, I see, so in the packaging, they're combining the illustrated image with the action figure. That's so clever. Man, big points, Mattel. I love the look of this. It wouldn't surprise me if we get a Mike Tyson one coming out next as well, because we've got Muhammad Ali in boxer gear and referee gear. We could totally get a boxer Mike Tyson and a DX Enforcer Mike Tyson as well. If that's the case, I bet that would sell like hotcakes. I bet this will sell like hotcakes. This looks lovely. I'm interested as to what the price might be, but just as a set, man, that looks too sweet to be sour. Yeah, that's really cool. Going over to Hot Toys now, they are getting well in on the Spider-Man PlayStation hoopla with two new figures, both of them looking mighty pretty. So first of all, we've got the new Spider-Man suit, which is actually the same as his regular suit with the white spider on there, but coming with the Waldos too. So you know that's going to be another power-up that you can get just like in the first game. And they do look really impressive. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of how they look. They're so big. They're so huge that it looks like he's got a gigantic crane contraption on his back. And the silver, I feel, doesn't really go with the rest of his costume. So that's just an aesthetic thing on my part. That's just, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I don't really like that look. What I do think is that spray those metallic red and then give us a superior Spider-Man. That might separate me from my money. Hoo-ha! And you can also see in this picture here, he's got the symbiote webbing coming out as well, which is really cool. All of these webbing effects, I think, are new for this Spider-Man. And they look lovely. They look really, really cool. And I do love that the symbiote's kind of coming through his web shooter. It's weird, it's odd. He's got these multiple webs coming out at once, which I'm guessing is going to be like an upgrade that you can get. So there's a cool little sneaky peek into what the game itself is going to be like. And yeah, this advanced suit with the white details on there, this is one that grew on me. I remember when we saw the first trailer for the first game, I was like, I don't know, white in the Spider-Man costume. Now, I actually kind of dig it. I do like it. And yeah, you've got the different web options there with the black symbiote goo. You've got the little spider drone as well. That's been modernized too. And then also, we got Miles Morales. And I don't think he's massively different from a previous Hot Toys Miles Morales we got. Nonetheless, though, he looks pretty. So that's not one that I need. I'm not going to start expanding crazy big Hot Toys collections because that'd get real expensive real quickly. However, just being able to sit back here and look at what they're doing great stuff, man. They really are. All what we really need is Peter in his black symbiote costume. If they're going to do that, oh my goodness, that will be awesome to see. Fingers crossed, we might get a glimpse of it soon. Very quick little piece of news, just a super fast announcement from Hiya Toys that they are going to be doing a Godzilla figure. Nothing else to go on from that, just the OG Godzilla it looks like. They posted a picture and said, we're going to do this. So hopefully we'll get more information soon. Alright, I've got to read this name off because there's no way I'm going to be able to remember it. But in March of next year for $80, you're going to be able to pick yourself up a Kurama Link Mode Naruto Uzumaki Premium Bandai exclusive figure. There you go. That was a bunch of words in a certain order. I hope they made sense to someone. What does make sense, though, is how this figure could warrant an $80 price tag because it does look pretty. I'm not familiar with Naruto at all, but this looks like a Super Saiyan version of the character. I assume he's got some huge big power upgrade. He's glowy, fiery. He's got little wibbly things coming off of him. He's got crazy white eyes, and he's having a good time. That's all I can tell you about Naruto. But it does look quite striking. So yeah, you Naruto fans out there, let me know if this is something that's really exciting. This passed me by. I was a haggard old adult by the time all the kids were watching Naruto. But I know that there is a huge fan base out there. So yeah, look for this guy in the first quarter of next year. $80. Actually, the more pictures I look at, the more I think he does look pretty awesome. This October, if you want something to dominate your collection, you can do a lot worse than going over to NECA, parting with $120 and getting a 1/4 scale Michelangelo. This dude, straight out of the cartoons. Does look really fun. It's essentially a blown up version of their regular Turtles line, and there's a lot to love there. This, because of the bold animated kind of design, you can blow it up to bigger sizes, bigger proportions, and it still looks good. And this does look real nice. 15 inches. So he's going to be very big, very tall, and also shows like little HasLab scuttlebutt going on at the moment, is that we might be getting a giant man. Look, you could do a figure this size, this much plastic, this much heft for $120, 15 inches tall. That would be a good giant man size. Just saying, if that's the kind of price that we're looking at, there could be some very happy people out there. I don't want to do any HasLab speculation. I just want to wait and see what they have to tell us. But the G.I. Joe one's wrapping soon, so hopefully the Marvel Legends one will be announced in good time. Although, of course, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Michelangelo. And honestly, this guy, he does look really good. From very, very good to very, very evil, it's not Danhausen, but NECA are doing Michael Myers from Halloween Ends. And This is a cool, badass, groovy looking Michael Myers. $38 around about October, appropriately. You're going to be able to get this guy. And I know that Halloween Ends has a lot of detractors. And I know it wasn't a perfect movie. I really enjoyed it for what it was. No spoilers, but they go in an interesting direction. And I've got a lot of time for that. And honestly, I think my only problem with it was they didn't stick the landing because they weren't brave enough to stick with what they were doing. However, the rest of the film, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And Michael Myers takes a beating in that movie, and you can tell by looking at this action figure. He's gone through the ringer a little bit, but that's what NECA are so good at, giving you figures with gory, nasty, grimy detail on there. And this figure has all of that. So, you know, there's a lot of Michael Myerses out there. I don't think a collection of all the different ones would be that interesting, because he pretty much looks the same, just a bit more battered and beaten throughout the different movies. But if you want just like one standalone Michael Myers, this could actually be a pretty cool, gruesome one to get. Full details have been revealed for Storm Collectibles Samurai Showdown Earthquake figure, and oh my goodness, this guy's going to be $160. It's a lot of money. Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. But at least you can see where a lot of that money is going. So he's going to be like, he is kind of giant. He's going to be about 11 inches, give or take. Very, very huge. Big, massive, chunky. Storm are not afraid to do the high-end figures and go, psh, you guys will pay for it. And honestly, like, we have been recently, although not so much. That's what got me out of the Mortal Kombat line. Because I was like, I'm not going to spend $150 just to essentially get Liu Kang. That's where I had to draw the line. But this guy, I mean, the chonk, the color. I don't need him. I won't get him because I've never played Samurai Showdown. But he does have everything that I love in an action figure. The size, the weight, the heft, and the colorfulness. He looks grim and ridiculous and just like a scary giant clown. And honestly, the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, well, don't you want a scary giant 2D fighting type guy on your shelf? And the answer is obviously yes. Of course I do. There's a lot of other figures I want too, and they're higher on the list. But I gotta say, this guy, he does look pretty awesome. Going back over to Hot Toys, they also revealed their Supergirl from The Flash action figure. And this got quite a bit of backlash when it was first revealed, because people were saying like that the face just isn't it. It doesn't look like the actress who portrayed Supergirl. Honestly, I don't. The jury's out for me. I think if I just saw this without hearing people saying like, it doesn't look great, I wouldn't have even thought twice about it. So maybe that's just some online rumor that I myself can easily be susceptible to. I'm like, is that what people are saying? Well, maybe it does look bad. I don't know. Comment below, let me know, because I haven't watched the Flash movie. I decided that life was too short. But no, I noticed, I'm not trying to be too harsh, because people have said that it's okay. It's okay. But still, that wasn't enough to get me in the theater. But apparently this young lady, I can't recall her name, but she was very well received as Supergirl. So there might, or Super Lady, I don't know what they called her. Oh, well, Supergirl is the name staring me in the face, so we should probably go with that. But yeah, it looks like another pretty hot toy. And hey, look, this is like the last movie of the original DCEU, so if you're collecting DCEU hot toys, this might be the last one to complete the entire set, and then you're done. And for that reason alone, maybe you might want to think about picking her up. Now, oh my goodness, this one is right up my street. One of my first loves has to be RoboCop. As a franchise, man, that won my heart when I was far too young to be watching movies like that. And this is a 1/3 scale figure of RoboCop. It's a statue, but like many modern statues, it has removable pieces and parts so that you can put him in different poses. $1,400, a huge amount of money, or even more, $1,450 for a deluxe version that has a few more accessories and swap out parts. This is one of those things that I will always look at and go, hey, look, I'm never going to own it, but dang, it's pretty to look at. And also, this just reminds me of how long it's been since we had like some really good RoboCop product and merchandise out there. This could be a great year. We're getting this insanely awesome looking statue, plus we're getting the new RoboCop game, the first person shooter. I forget what it's called. RoboCop Rogue City? Is that right? That popped into my head for some reason. That might be the case. Nonetheless, I'm really looking forward to that, to actually get to step into the Tin Man's shoes. That's going to be great. If you were doing it with this statue sat next to the TV watching you as you play, whew, what a life to lead. So yeah, there you go. 28.5 inches tall. That is huge. That is huge. You can see why it has such a big price sticker. And you can see that it looks to me like there's two different versions. There's like a grey one with his kind of color scheme from the first movie. And then there's one that's more of a kind of a blue hue to it, which harkens back to his look in RoboCop 2, which I always liked as a little aesthetic change they did there. But yeah, no more rambling about the figure besides the fact that it looks awesome. It's time to go back to the 90s with dinosaurs. NECA have got themselves another, what I think, perfect license for them is. That was almost a sentence that made sense. You know what I'm saying, though. NECA's ability to recreate, like, costumes is just second to none. Especially Jim Henson. They've got the track record with Jim Henson characters. And this is Earl Sinclair from Dinosaurs. Just boom. Like, perfect. Absolutely perfect. Honey, I'm home. I really, really have fallen for this. Actually, I used to work with a guy over here in Japan, actually, who was one of the original suit actors in Dinosaurs. How cool is that? He would play. Also, he'd do the voices for the mother, and actually, he was the mother. So he showed me like the mother's walk that he would do with the purse, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's the mother from Dinosaurs. He's like, yeah. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, yeah, these look really amazing. You got Earl and you got the baby. Both of them are going to be priced for around about $40 each, depending on, you know, where you're shopping. And NECA being NECA, you can see here, they've got so many accessories, all the different play options, practical like diorama pieces. You could have so much fun with these. If they sell well, I'm sure they're going to be doing the rest of the family, and damn, I'm really quite taken by these. These just look beautiful. Again, it's Jim Henson designs brought to life. And honestly, in action figure form, no one does that better than NECA. McFarlane are continuing with their San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, this time with an artist black and white version of Spawn on his throne. Guts to say, I do kind of like this. A problem that a lot of us had with Spawn and his throne was that you don't have a complete Spawn cape, which is kind of a shame. In order for him to sit on the throne, he just has the top, basically. And it works in that design, but then if you want to have Spawn standing up, then he loses some of his badass appeal because the cape isn't quite as it should be. And that has not been fixed on this item, but that's not what it's coming out for. It's coming out to be a exclusive la-di-da, bells and whistles, take a look at this artistic sort of thing that we're doing kind of figure. And in that regard, it does exactly what it needs to. So there's a regular one that's going to be retailing for approximately $50, and then there's a signed one that you can get your hands on as well, and that's going to be about $80. So yeah, this is another one of those for the Spawn fans who has everything. Then you can get this guy in black and white. And yeah, just looking at this picture here, for example, it does look really good. So Todd, I am still putting together my top 100 modern McFarlane figures list. There you go, easy for me to say. And this guy, the original on his throne, he might be on there, because as long as he's not standing up, he does look pretty wicked. And then he stands up and you kind of lose it a bit. Mezco, my goodness, there is still, I said there's so much news to catch up on. Mezco are doing Indiana Jones. Man, it's almost like Indiana Jones is public domain now, and just everyone's doing him, but he's not, just everyone's doing the indie license. And Mezco are like, yeah, we'll have a go. And they really have, because this looks great. It really does. First of all, not Marvel Legends, but Hasbro, they kind of kick the doors in with modern Indiana Jones figures. Then Figure Arts revealed theirs. That looked really nice. And then Mezco are saying, lads, hold my beer, because this is what Mezco do best, is all the soft goods. So this might be the definitive Indiana Jones figure, if you like the Mezco style. If you don't, then it's not for you, mate. However, you might be able to make a judgment for yourself around about March of next year. Yeah, that's the date that they said that he's going to be released. I doubt it. I mean, come on, Mezco. Anytime you give any kind of a release date, I just see it and I'm like, you're lying. I mean, I know you have the best intentions, but maybe get out the stuff that you've advertised before advertising more stuff. Just saying. And I only rib you because I love you. And one of these days, the Fantastic Four set is going to hit. And when it does, I'm going to be a happy chappy. But until then, I'm going to keep on badgering because my want list right now that I've paid for, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Green Goblin, Doctor Doom, the list goes on. Maybe I'll add Indiana Jones to it as well. I don't know. He does look nice. Not to be outdone though, Hot Toys are getting in on the Indiana Jones action with a different version of Indy. If you thought that the one from Raiders of the Lost Ark was too, cool, badass, happy and hopeful looking, then why not get a modern Indiana Jones who looks tired, depressed, and kind of over this whole thing? Yeah, you can get a Dial of Destiny Indiana Jones Hot Toy. Am I being too mean? No, I don't think so. That movie, man, it's such a shame. It's like, what are you doing to our heroes, man? Why can't we just let the heroes retire? Anyone who Harrison Ford has ever played, like, those characters just don't seem to age very well. It's like the last time we see them at the end of their original series, I'm looking at you, Han Solo, we should just be like, that's how we're gonna remember them. And then Lucasfilm say, No, you can't, because this is the real world, and you got to accept that people get old and tired and miserable. Look at Indiana Jones! I'm like, well, first of all, Lucasfilm, this is not the real world. That's the whole point. People can have happy endings. Heck, people can have happy endings in the real world. That's what I'm shooting for. But no. Anyway, that's my Indiana Jones rant. So if you really enjoyed Dial of Destiny, though, then more power to you. I'm glad that someone got a kick out of it. And if that's the case, you can immortalize Indiana Jones in hot toy form. Another McFarlane DC figure being teased. Alan Scott? Is that right? I almost stopped myself there, but I think that is right. Alan Scott Green Lantern from Day of Vengeance storyline. You can see that I don't have this in front of me anymore. I'm just going by memory. I think that's right. What is right is that this is a bright, colourful looking character. So I've got a lot of time for that, but it's only the initial reveal image we have to go on with the nice lighting and everything else. So you can't judge the figure by that. However, some hardcore DC Green Lantern people, hopefully you'll be quite pleased with this. But that's not all. McFarlane have also... Keep on going, Dave. No edits. Come on, push through. What am I talking about? Yes, that's not all. McFarlane. I'm not going to edit this. Come on. McFarlane have shown an image of the original Superman. Whew. There we go. That's... seamless. You wouldn't have even known. Yes, so we've got this picture here of the first appearance Superman, and this is what I like. This is McFarlane thinking outside the box a little bit. This isn't another Batman variant. It's not another Jim Lee Hush variant or anything. It's like, no, this is 85 years of Superman we have to play with and choose from. Let's do an OG Superman with the sort of shield looking all different and stuff. This is cool. I really like this. Has there been an OG Superman figure? Not that I can remember. I'm sure there must have been, but I can't picture it. Comment below, let me know, because I kind of like commemorating the original look of the Man of Steel. This is actually kind of fun. Now, if you're a hardcore Stan Sakai fan, then you can pick yourself up a Usagi Yojimbo black and white variant that he's offering. This looks pretty. And I do like things that are pretty. So we had the McFarlane black and white Spawn. Now we're getting the artist variant black and white Usagi Yojimbo. Two different versions, brands you can get. You've got his original samurai rabbit looking version, which I think is just glorious and gorgeous. This is really beautiful. The more I'm looking at the pictures, I'm like, dang. If I ever see that in store, I think I'd be very tempted to pick him up. But then also on top of that, you can get the space astronaut version as well. I think these are both retailing for about $100, so you can buy them on his website. But they might be different because they're very limited runs. I think like a few hundred of each, not very much. So it's definitely going for the collector market here. But yeah, the samurai spacefaring rabbit, it's a cool look, and this looks like a beautiful set. So yeah, one of those ones that I don't need it, I won't get it, but dang it, I can sit back and go, yeah, as a standalone artistic piece of action figure art, I really dig that. Now, I know I was ragging on the Obi-Wan show earlier, with good right to do so, I feel. However, one thing they did give us that was very cool was a nice battle-damaged Darth Vader. And SH Figure Arts are giving us this in action figure form. It looks really wicked. Pre-orders are going up live this month in Japan. It should come out around about the end of the year. Going to be retailing for like about $80, 70, $80, give or take, depending on where you import it from. But it's Darth Vader with the bashed up, sliced up mask, and that is just awesome. Every time I go to Umeda, there's a store, Yodobashi Camera, that has all the Figure Arts figures out on display in beautiful glass cases, and dang it, they always look so good. So there are a billion Darth Vaders out there, but this might be a quintessential one for folks, because obviously you do have the clean, undamaged look as well. So you can have him as your standalone Dark Lord of the Sith, but really it's the slice coming out there with the head scarred up underneath. That looks so cool. Something I always loved about the Darth Vader design with the helmet was how kind of sunk in the human head is. So when you do see a crack or something, like it looks like the head's almost lost inside this huge helmet. I think it looks cool. It's really, really wicked, and it's captured brilliantly here by Figure Arts. Man, I don't know. That might have to go onto the maybe list, because I maybe want to put this on my shelf. I think this looks really good. Another one from McFarlane DC, the 2-pack of Superman and Superman from Earth 3. Oh, you know what I'm going to talk about, okay? And this goes to show how far behind I am with my Marvel Legends news, or any kind of news. This isn't even Marvel Legends, but this came out a while ago, and everyone was like, McFarlane, state of your Superman face, mate. Seriously, I mean, who looked at that and went, yes, this is good, we can sell this, with a straight face, which this guy doesn't have. He has, what is this based off a certain type of artwork or something? I'd be really intrigued, because it just looks so bad. The goofiest, derpiest, smirkiest, just, this, I don't know who Superman this is, but this ain't my Superman. I think the Ultraman, he looks kind of cool. He looks pretty scary and badass. The glowing, washed out red eyes, the sneer, that looks awesome. But this other, I don't know who this doofus is that we're looking at, but it's not my Clark Kent, that's for sure. So if you want Superman of Earth 3, Ultraman, whatever his name is, then you might have to pick up this derpy Superman as well. And that's the folly of 2-packs, I'm afraid, because this ain't it, dog. This ain't it. Mondo are also getting in on the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, this time with their biggest figure they've ever done, animated Man-Bat. No price for it yet. I imagine he'll be quite expensive, but then again, you take a look at him and he does look rather striking. A whole bunch of heads and accessories as well. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different heads. You got the different wings there as well. He's looked pretty amazing. You can see the dude holding him here. That is a big action figure. I don't know, $250, $300 maybe? I'm terrible at guesstimating these kind of things. You'd never catch me on The Price is Right. Nonetheless, though, if you're a big-time Batman the Animated Series fan, if you've got the other ones that Mondo have released, which do look incredible, then, well, it would behoove you to get this guy as well, wouldn't it? I mean, it just makes sense. But yeah, hopefully we'll have some more information about how much he costs going forward. But nonetheless, just looking at the pretty pictures, man, this makes me want to go back and watch more episodes of Batman the Animated Series, because, so good. And the final Comic-Con exclusive figure for now. Hasbro are going to be chuckling all the way to the bank with their G.I. Joe Chuckles figure. I've never heard of this character before, but he actually looks like a super fun kind of secret agent, spy, undercover type guy, I assume. There's a couple of pictures of his head sculpt where he's got a big old grin on his face with a missing tooth and a black eye. This looks like fun. And I mean, that's something I've been saying for the G.I. Joe line since the start, is just the amount of fun you can have with these figures, with the amount of accessories and the posing options and the display pieces. Like, they're just, it's such a good line. I don't know if this is worth what they're asking, though. It's going to be $41, $41.99 maybe. And of course, he is an exclusive for San Diego Comic-Con. So I guess it's going to be a scarcity thing. They know that people are going to want this, so they jack up the price and justify it by giving him a nice big cardboard box. But ultimately, yes, he comes with a huge amount of accessories, but the G.I. Joe figures come with a huge amount of accessories anyway, because that's just how they come, because they're brilliant in that regard. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, I feel. However, just looking at this as a standalone G.I. Joe figure, he looks like a lot of fun. What do you guys think? Do you know Chuckles? Are the G.I. Joe fans, like, is this a big deal for Joe fans? Because I gotta say, with the Miami Vice, Hawaii 5-0 type look, there's a lot of fun to be had with this. Over in comics news, the summer of symbiotes is about to kick off, and I gotta admit, I am kind of invested. After being sick of multiverses and big Spider-Man events, I'm like, okay, well, symbiotes are always going to have a special place in my heart, and Carnage is going to be taking center stage. It's really quite interesting what they've been doing with the symbiote recently, because there have been two competing stories. One with Cletus Cassidy, and then the other with the Carnage symbiote. And they're actually kind of opposing each other, both going for power in different ways and different means. And it's kind of awesome. And I assume that at some point, the world will reunite them both into some terrible nightmare. But in the meantime, having Cletus Cassidy versus Carnage, both trying to make their own evil ways come to fruition, that's kind of cool. And we're getting a whole host of new symbiote type characters as well, because Lord knows you can't have enough of those. But yeah, genuinely, Summer of the Symbiotes, this kind of has my curiosity, kind of has my attention. I want to see where they go. Hopefully we're going to be in for some good times. A little bit of movie news, just a little aside, is that the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 DVD is going to be hitting shelves soon, or digitally, however you get them. And there's a little deleted scene in there which shows the final fate of the, I was about to say Grandmaster, nope, of the High Evolutionary. Which is, again, because it's not committed to film, finally, it's not 100% canon. But it shows that at least in the writer's minds, he does survive at the end, and you see him being put in a prison cell, basically, on nowhere, and Rocket Raccoon's like, how the turntables, here you are, in a prison cell. That's not what Rocket says, but still, that's kind of the gist of it. So it's good to see that they do sort of mentally keep that character alive and on the chessboard in the Marvel Universe, because dang, that was definitely a highlight of the film, was the High Evolutionary. I mean, if you want a despicable bad guy, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone better. So that's cool. A cool little deleted scene there to show what happens to one of the baddest new villains in the MCU. In kind of stupid, ridiculous movie news, Barbie, the new Barbie movie, has been banned in Vietnam, which is just a phrase that I didn't think I'd be saying at any point in my life, but there you go. Apparently, there is just one little scene where there's a map of the world in the background, and the lines that have been drawn on the map do not accurately represent what the people of Vietnam feel should show is within their ownership, as opposed to China. Oh gosh, it's so silly. So stupid. So there's a lot of Barbie fans in Vietnam who I'm sure couldn't give a tiny rat's ass about where a line on a map is in the background somewhere, but someone picked up on it, and now it's a problem, and Barbie's not being released in Vietnam. That's just kind of tickles me at how stupid that is. And over in Cosplay Corner, a big shout out to Xandra Stacks. This is a cosplay artist who I kind of noticed initially because of it wasn't just the characters and the costumes, but it was the lighting and the makeup that all kind of came together to make something that just looked kind of unique, kind of special just to herself and what she was doing. Plus, some of the more obscure video game style cosplays, these are really cool because they're characters that you don't actually see that often, maybe don't get that much representation in cosplays very regularly. So to see some of these like slightly more wacky off the wall, unexpected type ones come out. That's pretty wicked to see. I mean, the Attack on Titan bodysuit, that's awesome. I remember when I first got to Universal Studios in Japan, they were having this huge big Attack on Titan display theme going on, and they literally had a full-sized Titan statue. Like, I can't estimate height. 80 feet tall? I don't know, is that insane? Either way, it was a full-size Titan that was just like there in its skinless form, looking terrifying, and I was like, this is awesome. I dig this place. So seeing that in cosplay, that's pretty wicked too. So yeah, if you like what you see here, go give her a follow. She's doing awesome stuff. And folks, that does it for Good News for today. What did you think about the stories covered? Comment below, let me know. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more, then you know what you gotta do. You gotta join the 6-1 Clicks by clicking the like, share, and subscribe buttons, gang. Thank you so much. This was a whopper episode. We had a lot to talk about. So gang, comment below, let me know what you think about the subjects covered. And until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Cup of coffee. Big time coffee.